Marcus Garvey words come to pass. Marcus Garvey words come to pass. Can't get no food to eat. Can't get no money to spend. Oh, can't get no food to eat. Can't get no money to spend. Oh, come little one, oh, let me do what I can for you and you. Hello, come little one, come. Oh, let me do what I can for you and you alone. Oh, you know the right hand do it now. Shall be spanked with many stripes, weeping and wailing and mourning. You got yourself to blame. I tell you, the right, 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 the right. I beg you, oh,
Yes,
tell you to do right.
brothers and sisters. Greetings, 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 greetings. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Community Focus Program. UNIA ROC MEDIA. Yes, brothers and sisters, the work continues. I say to you, chance has never yet satisfied the hopes of a suffering people. Never did and never will. You may never get all that you fight for, but you surely have to fight for all that you get. Especially in a system like this, no one is going to give you anything that you don't deserve. Whatever you get is what you have to work for, sacrifice for, build for. Whatever you get, brothers and sisters, no one will give you something that you can get for yourself. And you should not expect anyone to do that, brothers and sisters. It's all about self-reliance, doing for oneself, building a self-reliant economic base that is based and raised first, brothers and sisters. We're in the month of August, Garvey month, Black August. So many great things happen here in August where our people are concerned, and we continue to make history in the month of August for our people and as far as they are concerned. The right is the black man to control his own destiny. The right is the black man to master his own destiny. The right is the black man to live in peace with the world. Brothers and sisters, I am yet to see a group of black people who dominated another race, who have stolen what they have. We're still looking because it has never happened. We look for leadership and guidance from our people, and we have provided that for the world over many times. If you go in ancient China, the Shang dynasty, you see the influences of Africa. If you go to Mesopotamia 40,000 years ago, you see the influence of Africa. If you go to ancient Japan, the influences of Africans are strong. Brothers and sisters all over India, and they still can't erase this. The color is there and everything is there. Brothers and sisters, if you drive through the Americas, north, South and Central America, you see the influences of our people. You look at Mexico, you see the strong commitment, the strong leadership that our people left there. You visit the Chichen Itza area, you see what our people built and organized there. Brothers and sisters, they try to wipe out our history. Not only did they try to wipe us out physically, but our history they wanted to wipe out. They wanted to get rid of it. And even as we are here, they wanted to be presumed that we never did anything. We didn't control anything. And to a certain extent, they moved on controlling the minds because they realized once the minds were controlled, then the bodies will follow. Without you even directing anymore, the bodies will just follow. But they didn't realize that our great ancestors were always with us, and what we even brought here, our history, our culture, our way of life, including our language and our food. They tried to bury them, brothers and sisters, but it wasn't possible. They ensure that when they took us to the Caribbean and here to the Americas, they separated us. They made sure that we could not compete. That's what they did in slavery. And later on, after slavery was so-called abolished, they went back to Africa. They went to colonize Africa, and under the Berlin Conference, they draw up their plans and made their resolutions on how they were going to carve up Africa. They didn't take into consideration anything about Africa and Africans and Africa for the Africans. They didn't care. Because they had the might, they thought that they were right. And they came with their guns. They came with everything because their intention was to rob, steal, pillage, was to take everything that they could take because their objective was to build their economic system. And on the backs of Africa and Africans, they did build their system. Be it the United States, be it England, be it France, be it every place else in Europe, they were built by Africans. They benefited from Africans. We look in the north of Africa and we see them assimilating there, and they want to change the history. They want to change the story. They would like us to believe that Africans did not live there. Africans did not rule there. They want us to believe that the pharaohs were not black. But brothers and sisters, the original land was named the land of the blacks. So you can't wipe that out. So brothers and sisters, we're here again, and we continue to teach, we continue to organize, we continue to build with you. So good evening again, and thank you. Brother Dugay, good evening. How are you? Hope all is well.
I'm doing well. Can you hear and see me loud and clear, PG?
Yes, I'm finally seeing you and hearing you.
Okay, I don't see myself, but I see you. As long as you can see me, that's good enough. That's a new suit you're wearing, right?
No. This is a shirt I've had for a while. You remember once in Ghana when we were by the market, I bought
And
about...
I think you bought like 20 of them. You
Yes.
bought like 20
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I see it. Yeah, they're nice. In fact, I like the way by the pocket is.
Yeah.
I had some of my suits because I remember after you bought it, I said, you know what? Let me copy that. Okay, yeah. Okay, that was in Ghana. Okay, greetings, Africans, and welcome to the UNIA ROC Media. Today is Tuesday, August 4th, 6266 or 2026. And the UNIA ROC Media is here. Brothers and sisters, the UNIA ROC Media is the media arm of the UNIA. That's the Universal Negro Improvement Association, ACL, African Communities League. This is what Mr. Garvey did for us. This is the solution. This is how we regain our self-respect. This is where we pursue self-reliance, where we get sovereignty, where we redeem Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. Anyway, the host of this media is the current President General and Administrator, the 10th, excuse me, the 10th successor to the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the founder of the UNIA. We're talking none other than the Honorable Michael R. Duncan. The co-host is the first Assistant President General of the UNIA, Raymond Duguay, and I'm at your service. And as I said, today's Tuesday, August 4th. Big things. PG, before we continue, I didn't know Wakai was still alive. I thought he was dead. No, the president of Liberia. No, because I'm reading something. No, not that I wish anything on him. I said, really? PG, he's 81 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, 81, come on, we're talking Trump and Biden. This is good. Anyways, 81 years old, and actually, he was actually speaking, and I said, wow, I hadn't heard of him. I hadn't seen anything of him. But anyway, PG, is there anything you want to let me know about 2029, about a certain former president running for office back home in his country? Is there anything you want to let me know on that?
Yes, but of course, the former president, George Weah, is gearing up for that. This time around, they just have to be a lot more meticulous in making sure they control the vote, control the proper counting of the votes, because once it is done fairly, it's a given that George Weah will win. But we know it's not going to be fair, so he just have to be ready to combat whatever they bring. But he has the people are with him more so than ever, and he continues to serve the people. As a matter of fact, he just left New York today. But I know he's going to land in Ghana, then he's going to Nigeria for a few days to take care of some business, then back to Ghana, then to Liberia. But definitely, he's gearing up for that. They just had a convention here in the United States, in Pennsylvania, over this past weekend. So they're gearing up for that.
It's all over the internet, over the internet. And that's how I realized that Joseph Wakai is still alive. I seriously had not heard from him. So in 81. But anyway, over the weekend, that is correct. In Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, the CDC, the Congress for Democratic Change, USA, the USA branch of the CDC, that's the party that the former president is in charge of. He let it be known that he is standing for re-election in 2029. It is all over the internet, brothers and sisters, all over. Everybody's talking about the former president and how dignified he was. Let me say this, and PG is biased. You know, he's got relatives there. I'm not. There is no election that can be held in Liberia that President George Manawer cannot win. I know this for a fact. I've been there. I know the place. And I know this because this is the same situation in Haiti with Aristide. So this is clear. I get it all the way. PG's alluded to certain things. We're not going to get into that. But, this African is wildly popular. Anyway, so all over the internet, and so this is big, 2029. I think it'll be in October, and we're all looking forward to it because that is the future, and I think everything falls in place. Any thoughts on that, PG, before we move on?
Say that for me again. I didn't hear the last.
I said everything looks great. The future is with President George Manawer for Liberia and for West Africa. And I asked you, any thoughts on that?
No, you're right. And George have the relationships throughout West Africa. So I think he can make a big difference. And he did a lot for the people prior to this term here. These people coming in, and the poorer people were able to feel a sense of responsibility but then sense of growth. One of the things George did, but I don't know if you were there with me when, no, maybe it was Sam them, when we were getting our passports, because you had went after me, and as I was talking to a lady in the general area, and she said she didn't support George Weah because what George Weah did was to cut some of the top salaries so more people can get work.
And that's a problem. More opportunities for people. I mean, stop.
Yes, so I was amazed when she said that to me. She's saying that she used to make more, but now, because he went out and hired a lot more people, he cut some of the top salaries so a lot more people could be employed. But in an economic system, it's not just good for a few people to be making a lot. It's right. Good for a lot of people to be making a reasonable amount where other people are living in surprising. So I was surprised when she said that, but that's how she felt, you know?
Right. And on the internet, they mentioned it was November 17th, 2023, when President Weah, even before the results were notified, he had a press conference and he congratulated Joseph Boakai. And I was in South Africa. PG called me to tell me the bad news. I mean, I still didn't believe it. I said, really? No, I can't believe it. He said, no, it's for real. I said, wow. Not that the results were out, but President Weah had already had the press conference where he said, congratulations, let's move on. And everybody all over the internet then, it was like, wow, magnanimous, dignified, everything. We're not going to kill each other. No, those days are over. The master wants us to kill each other, to fight each other. No, we've got to move on. And, at the end of the day, I'm still there and I know what I can bring. So that was big. And so we're gearing up for 2029, PG. So it's all over the internet, brothers and sisters. And so I was reading something. I see a picture. I said, oh, that's President Weah. What's going on here? And then that's when he brought in Joseph Boakai and realized he's still alive. I was not aware. I mean, not that I wish anything, but 81, he falls asleep. I mean, brothers and sisters, come on. Don't you want your head of state to reflect the best in us? Now, so that only leads us to the obvious conclusion that this, what do you want to call it, an election, whatever it wasn't what it's supposed to be. Okay, anything else, PG, before we move on to August 4th? Go ahead.
Yes, no, but August is here, and August is a strong month. Whole lot of things happen. We're looking at Emancipation Day. We're looking at the Harlem race riot. It's amazing, and a brother who had served in the army was abused by the police officer, and the people them just decided that they're not going to take it anymore. And our brothers and sisters have been standing up and been fighting and been resisting forever. And it continues. You talk about August. The great Haitian Revolution was started in August. To be exact, August 22nd, where our brothers and sisters in Haiti defended us, gave us the push to be freed from slavery, make sure the slave master know that he could be beaten. So we're thankful for August and our brothers on the island of Saint Domingue at that time. We're looking in August 21st to 23rd again. We're looking at the Nat Turner Rebellion. Brothers and sisters, we believe in God, but our God don't tell us that we should subject ourselves to any man. And if we're going to learn their religion or their system, it should be for the liberation of our people. And that's what Nat Turner did. And Nelson Mandela, he put up the struggle. He did the fight for our people. And for what he did, we're thankful for him. There were some drawbacks, but overall, we are thankful for him. He was arrested August 5th, 1962. But a man like Nelson Mandela, and when our people get incarcerated or they're going to attack our people, we can't leave our people by themselves, because when we leave them by themselves, they become vulnerable. And at times, if we're not strong enough to give them a platform to stand on, they often have to subjugate themselves, discount their values and beliefs to accommodate massa. And we really think that we are getting a deal, and that doesn't make sense. Our brothers and sisters in August again, 1965, Brother Dugay, the famous Watts riot. Our people have been fighting, and our people were protesting and fighting against police brutality. Our people who went out in the streets, they know, Brother Dugay, that they were going to be killed. They know that the police would shoot them, but they still go out there and fight. They fight. They gave up their lives. So, brothers and sisters, we're at a point where we have to understand that we're not asking you to give up your life anymore. We're just asking, let's control our economics. Let's control our dollars. Let's join under the banner of one God, one aim, one destiny. Through unity, everything else is seemingly possible. Yes, my brother.
Okay, PG, yesterday morning, I got a call from Sound Chat Radio. They were having a heated, this is very early, before 8, I was still sleeping. It's like 7:10 or something. The morning show is from 6 to 10 a.m. So like at 7:10, I got a call. I slept through it. And they were having a conversation on TPS, temporary protective status, the situation in IET, and so forth. And they wanted someone who could explain. When they called, when I finally got around, I think the show was still on, but the time had passed, and they wanted someone to come on this morning at 8 o'clock to discuss it. And so I informed them, you don't even need to ask me. I've got the right person. That's Dawood on there. And he was on this morning. PG, it was an education. I got the education. Everybody got it. And then as a result, Brother Write Up called me and asked me to come on to later on his show to continue the discussion, conversation, Black August and TPS. But just to give you an idea, and this relates to how we should be informed. There's CARICOM community. It's been around over 40 years, and until 2002, IET was not a part of CARICOM. So as of 2002, IET became a part of CARICOM. In CARICOM, PG, all the states have access to all the other states. No visa required. All you have to have is whatever passport you have, whatever document to travel, except IET. And so Grenadines, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Bahamas, and there were other nations that have been told by the USA not to allow Africans from IET onto their shores. So as a result, those Africans from IET that end up in those places are being deported back to IET, and especially that fraud, Mia Motley. and
Yes.
Ralph Gonzalez. Anyway, so it was an education about TPS and so forth. So that was today, August 4th. But let's stick with August 4th. August 4th, yeah, on our calendar, it shows it's the birth of Edward Wilmot Blyden. I mean, the grandfather of Black nationalism. He obviously understood we need to, yes, we can stay wherever you're at, but ultimately you have to build your homeland. A strong Africa will make any Africans outside of Africa protected. So that's why you need a strong Africa. This is why Mr. Garvey tells us our goal is the redemption of Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. But if you want to be protected outside of Africa, the base has to be strong. I mean, just like your house. If your house is strong, if you're loving, living together, you can go outside. You can do whatever you want. But if inside your home, inside your organization, you're not strong, you can't do anything. You're weak and everybody will take advantage of you. Anyway, so having said all that, this is Edward Wilmot Blyden, born 1832 in the U.S. Virgin Islands. True genius. Anyway, he's going to befriend John Edward Bruce, and John Edward Bruce is going to be Garvey's right hand as Garvey builds the UNIA in New York. So Edward Wilmot Blyden, well, John Edward Bruce is the key, but it's Edward Wilmot Blyden who befriends John Edward Bruce and all of these guys. Anyway, that's August 4th. Okay, 1832. We get that. Okay. August 4th, 1983. And today, that was 43 years ago. Today, in Ouagadougou, in Burkina Faso, Traoré he read a letter, and then before reading the letter, he discussed what happened 43 years ago. It was 43 years ago, 1983. Thomas Sankara was 33 years old. That's pretty young, people. He became president of Upper Volta. That was 43 years ago, 1983. And when he spoke, when he faced his people, he said, we're going to do what people believe is impossible. We're going to empower our people. We're going to eliminate meningitis, eliminate malaria. We're going to plant trees. We're going to engage in literacy. We're going to eliminate female circumcision, forced marriages. We're going to build our own clothing manufacturing. This is 1983. Everybody thought he was crazy. He said, how we do that is remaining true to our cause. We're going to work for our people. That's what we're going to do. And like President Ware did, eliminate salaries. He eliminated salaries too. He said, and in fact, he sold all of the, what do you call those? Luxury vehicles. The only vehicle that they kept, that the government kept, was a basic French vehicle, Renault. Everything, all the Mercedes, we don't need it. And he himself used to bicycle. This is 43 years ago when he addressed the nation. It was called, he was the 5th president of Upper Volta. A year later, August 4th, 1984, he's going to rename the country and come up with an anthem that I had a chance to learn the other day. They gave it to us, and we were in the army barracks, and all the soldiers had to sing it, so I had to sing it too. Anyway, but that was 43 years ago. And let me just read the statement in French, but translated. He says, our duty is to build a proud, sovereign, strong, and forward-looking nation through self-reliant development for the benefit of our people. That's it. You don't need any fancy and then there were more, but that was the basis, and that was the declaration. So 43 years ago, 33-year-old Thomas Sankara appeared before the country to tell the people what he was planning on doing. And guess what? And then they also planted 10 million trees. Incredible. All of this was done in 4 years because by October 15th, 1987, he was killed. Not only killed, butchered, dismembered. Oh, it was terrible, terrible. But all of this, so that was 43 years ago. And then a year later, he's going to rename the country to Burkina Faso. It's More and Duyula. And the French, when you say it in French, it means, well, at least to me, I know slave languages, whatever. It says, le pays des hommes intègres, the nation of men who are filled with integrity. But you can translate, that's what it means directly, but it's really land of the upright man, or land of the incorrigible, or men filled with integrity. And overnight, so today, Traore, who's acting, he's 38 years old, and Sankara was 33. PG, what were you doing at 33?
33, but it's all over the place, trying to find a few free black men and women who want to make a difference. But it was very difficult, very, very difficult. I'm,
Oh, holy PG, you realize I hadn't even met you yet.
yeah, no,
So 33, that would have been 96.
yes, yes,
I
yes,
hadn't even, I don't meet you until 99.
yeah.
Continue, go ahead.
Sometimes you hear me talk about Carlos Cooks, and why Carlos Cooks is so important to me is because of the commitment he had with leadership and the support he gave leadership. And I'm always impressed with him for that. He never promoted himself. It was always about Marcus Garvey and the UNIA. I looked back at the Haitian Revolution. I looked back at the great Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and he had the power to lead. He could have controlled and he could have done better than his leader, but he supported him anyway. He became the force behind everything else. And I'm totally committed to that. With leadership and friendship should be loyal and debt before dishonor. Now I'm coming to Thomas Sankara. He and Blaise were great friends, almost like brothers. And Thomas Sankara was loyal to Blaise to the end. Even when some of Sankara's most trustable and reliable soldiers would try to give him a hint that Blaise was going to betray him, he could never conceive that. And finally, what he said when it came to the conclusion, he basically looked at it and said, Blaise can betray me. However, I can't betray him.
Absolutely.
So we have to be loyal to ourselves. We have to be loyal to the
We have to
people.
be truthful to ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So for me, those are some of the people that give me the greatest inspiration, and why,
PG, we'll going to continue, but I have to say something about Jerry Rawlings. It's widely reported Jerry Rawlings was the flight lieutenant in Ghana who took over the country, made a revolution. and then eventually ran for president, and eventually he stepped down. He died several years ago. It's widely recorded that Jerry Rawlings, President Rawlings, had informed Sankara that, there is sabotage, there will be a coup d'etat, and supposedly Blaise Compaoré would be involved. And Sankara did respond, well, if Blaise wants to betray me, he can, but I cannot betray Blaise. I question that. I'm going to tell you why. Rawlings was the one who tried to steer Ghana back to where Nkrumah was, but he never took it that direction. He only went so far, and you see what those three kings are doing. I'm talking about Assimi Goïta in Mali, seeing Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso, and Abdourahmane Chiani, what he's doing in Niger. And I'm always wondering, hold it. By the way, I did meet President Rawlings at the first time I went to Africa for the inauguration of President Ware. He was on our floor at the hotel that we stayed at. And, he had that big suite with all these, like 3 different rooms. And, I figured, let me walk around. So somebody thought I was some diplomat, and they let me into the area. And I did see President Rawlings. But anyway, that's a different story. But the point is, no, I reject that from Rawlings, because how we can measure Rawlings, when he was in charge of Ghana, there were certain things that should have been done that was not done. And that's why I'm sure it was said, but Rawlings, and here's the other thing. PG, I just don't get it. Why only now they've done it? But why it took Mahama to rename that airport? The airport should only be named after Nkrumah, just like the airport in Port-au-Prince. Some fool named it Toussaint Louverture. I mean, that's a complete, well, we know why, because they would never want to acknowledge the leader, the one who actually did the work. And so those are things I question about Rawlings. Plus, certain things, it's like, how best to say it? To me, it's a lot of times, it's a difference between what you call a liberal versus a revolutionary. The difference is the liberal actually believes in the system. He just wants to reform it. Whereas revolutionary, no, the system can't work. This capitalistic, genocidal, vulturistic, monopoly rent can never work. So we've got to eliminate it. Whereas a liberal would say, well, this can work. We just need to make changes. No. And that's where I put Rawlings. Completely unrelated. But this is something I always wanted to share with our audience. That was it. Any comments, PG?
And one thing I realized, and I got to learn about people, there not going to be a lot of us who are absolute and we're going to stand because the cause is right. 99% of us, we will detour, we will discount. So very rarely, over my years of looking for people, it was very difficult to find people who say we want to do this and we're serious about this and we're going to stick to this cause, if only because it's right. It's right not only for me, but for my people. And it's very difficult sometimes. And a lot of people, even when they're in, unfortunately, they're also in for the benefit of themselves. Again, I come back to, I am sure Jean-Jacques Dessalines had no self-interest. I am sure Carlos Cooks had no self-interest. I'm sure Thomas Sankara had no self-interest. But there's not many men we can think about who are as committed and said they don't have any more interest but just to build our people. But there's actually not a lot of us. And as we go through some of these leaders, it's the same thing. They will do some good things, but to a certain extent, they're limited because their makeup, their mindset is not like that. And that's why there are only a few men will say death before dishonor. There's only a few men who know that if I do this, there's a stronger possibility that I'm going to be killed than stay alive. But they do it anyway. There are only a few people like that.
Because the cause is right. Yeah.
Yes.
PG, while you hold it, you got me thinking. Do you remember after Biden, right before he left, he pardoned Mr. Garvey?
Yeah.
You know the next question. Did you think, other than, let's say, you and your trusted sidekick, that everybody would be so in favor of it and that it would be such?
Yeah. I'm beginning to think that something was wrong with me. Because everybody else, I'm saying, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? But what I get to realize and that understand that, the slave master
has done a good job.
Yeah.
Done a good job. The best job ever. No, I mean, PG, I'm at the stage where I say, wow, this devil's good. Because I mean, you have to admit that before you can actually overcome that. But yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Oh, before we continue, this Sunday is the second Sunday of the month. That means People's Republic of Brooklyn UNIA meeting. It's not going to be held this Sunday. And PG, let me tell you why. The last three, we're at an event, but the last three meetings we've had at Restoration Plaza, we've had to compete with a concert. It seems that they have concerts every Sunday in the back of Restoration Plaza. I mean, loud music, the loudest music. It looks like the music is in our meeting room. So we did the best we could. But this Sunday, PG, this is the annual Moshood event. The Nigerian consul general will be there. Of course, Brother Oji's, he's in charge. Everybody, we were there last year, but it wasn't on a second Sunday of the month. It was actually on a Saturday. So this year, it's this Sunday, and it's also for Moshood. The brother, his health is failing.
Yes.
So we want to support him as much as possible. But the worst part about it is we've been asked to participate and make a presentation. So even if we wanted to have a meeting, so it's at 3 p.m., the setup, and then the event starts at 6. Would still be enough time to do our meeting. But the problem is, it is so... it's going to be a lot of music. They're having the fashion show, a whole bunch of dignitaries. Everybody who is somebody will be there. And so we will be out there. Of course, we'll be there giving out palm cards, engaging with people, but we're not holding our UNIA meeting. That means all of you who are planning to attend the meeting, well, we already informed everyone that we would be, it's this Sunday, at Restoration Plaza, in the back of Restoration Plaza on Herkimer Street, celebrating Moshood. And, his health is declining. And so they want to give him a big party, a big salute. Last year, he could barely speak. He had the stroke. When he got the UNIA flag, PG, he found his strength and he kept waving it. He was given the UNIA flag, handmade, and he really took hold. And he was not saying anything, but once he got the flag, he was able to wave it. And so, People's Republic of Brooklyn, UNIA, will be there at Restoration Plaza, and we do need to come and meet, but there's not going to be any meeting because the music and the sound is, it's been very challenging, the last three meetings, because it seems that they have Sunday concerts every week, basically. Okay, sorry, I had to remind everyone about that. Okay, PG, Sankara, we finished with it. We finished with him. But this was an African. All he wanted was to do right by his people, just to help our people, serve our people. That's it. And, so much was done. And so today, 43 years ago, and then a year later, he renamed it Burkina Faso. I tell you, just the word encourages me. Okay, President General, The Rock, Charlie Robinson. What can you say about Charlie Robinson? Because I know yesterday we had some words for him, but today I was speaking with Dawood, and again he spoke about Charlie on Haitian radio. Just the guy was a good guy. Last words, PG, on Charlie Robinson.
No, strong brother. He has his opinion, and he was strong. He was also a strong supporter of the PNP party, and he led.
Oh, hold it. He was PNP?
Of course.
Well, no. Let me ask a different question. Who at the Rock is not PNP? Let's put it that way.
Well. Charlie believed that anybody at the Rock who wasn't PNP, they should find a new job.
Yeah, I agree.
That's Charlie's belief. So he was serious, and when the PNP lost the other day, he took it bad. He took it bad. He was so hurt because he has seen what the current party is doing now and know that they're not doing the best for the Jamaican people. So he took it seriously. But on top of that, he took the UNIA seriously. A strong student and follower of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, and dedicated to all the mission and for the Rock. He looks out for the Rock all the time. He took the job serious here. He gave a full day work for a full day pay every single day. And one thing he always do, if sometimes when Sophia and Keisha would leave back in the evening, all the other men would leave. They wouldn't care that the sisters are here. But Charlie would never leave until they were finished. And he was leaving with them. And even though he had maybe about a 2.5, maybe 3 hour ride to the Bronx, he never left them here. So just a great brother who happened to cross our path, and we became family with him.
Before I forget, anyone who's watching this who will be traveling to Jamaica for the 17th, and I'm talking about Brother Collington, he'll be in Jamaica for the 17th, so he's excused from attending Mr. Garvey's parade. Do whatever you can, get to National Heroes Park and attend that function for Mr. Garvey.
Yeah.
I know. PG, we know it's fluff and bluff, but it is impressive.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth, PG, that's the most impressive presentation from a sitting government that I've ever seen.
Yes.
We should, ours is better because we would do ours after the event, but it was pretty impressive. Even if it's a bluff, it's a good bluff. So make sure, and I think Collington will be in Jamaica for the 17th. So if you're already going to be in Jamaica on the 17th, and that's a holy day of obligation, make sure that you find tickets to get to National Heroes Park for that event. PG, about the PNP, do you realize every time I've attended a function through the government of Jamaica, it has not been, they were not in power. It was always Labour Party. I just realized that. Every time it was Labour Party. So here's my question to you. And I need you to be honest on this. philosophically, we're PNP. There's no doubt about it because of Michael Manley. It's simple. And between the two of them, well, I'm a PNP person. But is the PNP doing enough, PG? I really, let me answer this. I think, in my mind, the PNP and Labor Party is similar, not exactly to like the Democrat and the Republican Party in America. Well, you know, one is just bad news, but it's not like the other one is really doing enough for us. Or is it the case that we're waiting on them to do it? Please tell me what your thoughts on PNP.
Yeah, well, in general, we have to do more for the people. And, you know, we support Marcus Garvey and Garveyism. I don't think even some of the past PNP prime minister did as much as Michael Manley.
Oh,
Michael Manley was somebody, again, who was absolute. And he committed to the movement. And he didn't want anything. He wanted for the people. So he was willing to sacrifice for the people. And as I said, I haven't seen anybody since Michael Manley to walk in Michael Manley shoes and is as absolute as Michael Manley was. I haven't seen that. So the PNP party of Michael Manley may not be the same. And we had committed to the movement because of Michael Manley. What happened? Even after Michael Manley died, there were still some remnants of Michael Manley ways in the government. His influences were still there for a while. But for now, I don't see where the government looking out for the people. Michael Manley said democratic socialism. And basically speaking, he just wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance. The poor people had a chance to survive, and he pushed for it. The PNP party, even though they're not in, they should be pushing the government to advocate on behalf of poor people and getting some of those same programs that Michael Manley from the tutelage of Marcus Garvey instituted for poor people.
PG, how soon can we open industries?
Yeah.
Because to me, that's the solution.
Yeah.
You got to create jobs. So you got to build industries. And Jamaica should be our test case. Number one, Mr. Garvey's a national hero. But number two, you know, for a country that's not that large, it does do incredibly well. It's very successful on the world stage. We're talking less than 3 million people, and everybody's heard of Jamaica. So, okay, so we need to go open industries. Okay. Switching gears a bit, the Black August, Nat Turner, does he get enough respect? Do you know he was labeled the terrorist all these years until maybe like 20 years ago, and they finally realized this guy was a freedom fighter. My question to you, does he get enough respect, and what should we do?
No, and they're not going to give it to him. If you leave these people, they will not talk about him. You see the government, especially over the last 30 years, they have controlled the news media to not give certain things certain coverage. And the same thing they're doing with our black heroes. They just don't give them any coverage. You remember once upon a time when like Khalid Muhammad would talk, he would have coverage and he would be all over the news. All of a sudden, they said, just cut it. Don't give them any coverage whatsoever. And they're figuring if they cut that, then we're insignificant. But thank God for social media now, where people can get certain things out because they stop it. So people like Nat Turner, people like Carlos Cooks, people like Jean-Jacques Dessalines, people like Thomas Sankara, they don't want you teaching people about them because imagine if more of us become absolute like these brothers.
Speaking of Sankara, the airport in Ouagadougou has been renamed. It's the Thomas Sankara International Airport. I mean, it was only a matter of time. Traoré was working on that. And that's the way it should be. I mean, what's the name of the airport in Kingston, PG?
Norman Manley.
Okay.
It should be Michael Manley.
Well, that's where I was going with that. Okay, but at least it's Manly. It's not Bustamante. At least that. But okay, leave that alone. PG, the People's what is it called? People's Progressive Party, the PPP.
The People Political Party.
People's Political Party. What do we need to make that relevant?
First, we need numbers in the UNIA. And numbers should translate to translate the numbers in the PPP. We have people who are still holding it together. God bless his soul. You remember Brother Moses?
Heru.
No, you remember,
Moses, okay.
Yeah. You remember Brother Moses?
Of course.
Yeah, Brother Moses was pushing it. If Sister Aldith is listening, she was a big supporter of Brother Moses. You have Brother Heru and Brother Miguel who are still promoting the PPP and holding on. But as we grow, the same time we have to have a political party. We have to have the political arm, because Mr. Garvey said anything that has interest or control over your life, you must have control over it. So
absolutely.
We have to look in those avenues as well.
Okay. Quick switch. In the Garvey's Voice, there's the cover is called Birth of a Nation. It's about what the Sahel states are doing. Anyway, yes, 10 items that you need to form a nation. They've done 9. The missing link is it's actually the most critical link. That's your currency. Anyway, they're going, the limit as X approaches infinity, they're working on that. But however, ECOWAS, for at least since 2020, has been promoting their own currency. They're calling it the ECHO. And they met 2 weeks ago. Everything was looking good. Last week, Guinea-Conakry, as opposed to Guinea-Bissau, as opposed to Guinea Equatorial. Guinea-Conakry has pulled out, and let me inform our people about Guinea, which is a good thing. Well, bad and good. All of the other French-speaking countries in West Africa, they have what they call the CFA franc, not Guinea. Guinea has the Guinea franc. Why? Because when Ahmed Sékou Touré, when he was fighting for independence, and Charles de Gaulle and France said, okay, what do you want to do? All the other nations, no, let's reverse. He said, nah, thanks, but no thanks, white man. I'm going for independence. And so as a result, they had their own currency. Whereas the other states, once all the other French-speaking African states saw what was going on to Guinea, how they tried to destroy it, destabilize it, sabotage it, a lot of them said, you know what, Master, we'll stay with you, and especially Cote d'Ivoire. Number one bad guy, Cote d'Ivoire said, no, we love you. We'll stay with you. And so France created their 2 CFAs. CFA for the West African countries and CFA for the Central African countries. Believe it or not, there are 2 sets of currencies, but they're both printed and controlled out of France. But anyway, Guinea always had their own. And so Guinea has pulled out of the ECHO because their argument is, no, it's not an argument. It's fraudulent that since they're not pegged, because they're going to peg the ECHO to the euro. And he says, well, our currency fluctuates on its own. And that's why we have inflation and deflation. And so by us sticking with this ECHO, it would destabilize our currency. That is not true. And he's the ace, he's the, the trump card. We know about the 3 Sahel states, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Before them, the first state in West Africa, not recently, that did an overthrow was Guinea with Doumbouya. And but he is a French agent. So even though it was supposedly it wasn't organic, it wasn't a people's movement, but he is their agent, and he would always be there to make sure this doesn't go. I'm certain of this, PG.
Yeah.
Sahel will have their own currency before ECOWAS, because Guinea is there to make sure it doesn't happen. So that's the latest news, and why currency valuation is so important. But PG, they're gonna peg this ECHO to the euro. That's not good. You want your currency pegged to your productivity,
Of course.
or backed by gold,
Yeah.
which the Sahel states have. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Okay, PG, anything else? Because it's about that time. Let me see. So Sunday is the Moshood event. And Saturday, PG, you know they're having the very first Jamaica Independence Parade in Brooklyn, in Flatbush. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I heard about it.
Yes, this is an anticipation for next year, because next year is going to be 65.
Yeah.
So next year is going to be really big. So they started it this year in Flatbush, because they've had Jamaicans marching in parades for the Caribbean and other part, but never by herself. So it'll be this Saturday. All roads lead into Brooklyn on Flatbush. Okay, PG, last statement before we...
Brothers and sisters, we have UNIA members who are on. We have a UNIA meeting, Division 431 and 432 tomorrow. Please join us. We have the UNIA parade, Marcus Garvey parade, coming up August 17th, 5 p.m. We assemble at 4 and march at 5. Join us, brothers and sisters. Let's continue to canonize the greatest man who ever walked earth. Thank you.
And don't forget our convention. Mr. Garvey's birthday is the 17th. Our convention starts the 19th on a Wednesday, but we'll be there as early as Tuesday for the meet and greet. Okay, thank you all of you beautiful Black and noble Africans for today, August 4th, 6266 or 2026, 43 years ago today. This young 33-year-old African addressed his nation as the president to inform them what they were about to do and how optimistic he was. His name was Thomas Sankara. Okay, please raise your beautiful black right and noble fist and repeat after me. Africa.
Africa.
For the Africans.
For the Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
And those abroad.
And those abroad.
One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Race first.
Race first.
Long live Thomas Sankara. Long live the land of the upright people, Burkina Faso. Race first, PG. Yes, see you tomorrow. Zoom call 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Community Focus Show is brought to you by Jamaica Breeze.
Calling us home. So long we have been a slave and no more will we roam. So I hope and I pray that the day will come when we see the rising sun. When no more crying, nor victimizing, no more starvation. No more killing. Africa is a land of home. Yeah, Africa is the land where I belong. Oftentimes I sit right down and remember those chains.